cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers, happy Wednesday afternoon, October 30th to all of you. Thank you for watching Sportsbook Review. This is Betting with the Bag. Big show. Game 7 of the World Series. Does it get better than that? Game 7 of the World Series popping off this evening. 6 NHL games, 11 NBA games. And we have a man making his Low Shack in the Bag. God, I missed that guy. Making his Betting with the Bag debut. That being Junior Brown will be joining us. Junior Brown, star of Jammin' with J Money, will be on our show in 13 minutes. So we're going to hammer each and every one of those NBA games. I'm already on 2 looks and feeling good about them because Jaylen Brown is sick. Will not be in the lineup to face my Milwaukee, but not my Milwaukee, my Milwaukee. They're my team tonight. Shout out to all the cappers in the chat. Take it easy. Showing that hustle first in the chat. So let's get this bag, Jimmy. No better show chat to cap with. Take it easy. Setting the tone. Geghard Aces, what up, Lowback fam? Feel some big winners today. Jimmy, let's hammer these NBA and NHL picks. There's Rosie. Great to see Rosie in the house. Is anyone on the Nationals? I have not hedged my future, and I don't think I'm going to. I just don't have enough on the line. It's pretty much a sort of a free roll. I put $350 on them to win the AL and 175. That was at minus 105. 175 for them to win the World Series at plus 200. So it's sort of a free roll. And my month is fine. Why cut into a small profit there, especially with Scherzer? And I don't know what we're gonna get from either pitcher, but I do know that Garrett Cole is waiting in the wings in case of any kind of worries. I mean, all Greinke has to do is just get that through that Soto, Rendon, get through Rendon, Soto once. And then if you can get through twice, then that's all. Hey, shout out to Fat Fisty in the house. Eric Nisbet ready to get to work. Says take Sacramento Kings -7 over Charlotte Hornets. Play it for 5 units. Also, Astros 120 and under 7.5. Okay. Going for the Astros and the under 7.5. There's Tri Sawyer in the house. Ron Lofton, Deerslayer Ski, my guy Rye Cape in the house. AM said, Jimmy, last week I put in the chat the MLS final would be Seattle versus Toronto. That night I said that TFC knocks out number 1 and New York City FC at plus 265. Seattle knocked out number 1 LAFC. If TSC wins tonight, plus 300, book it. AM. That is spectacular handicapping. We have Al Mack joining us tonight. Al Mack's going to talk about that big Kovalev-Canelio fight. He's also going to talk about these Toronto FC, the Eastern Conference Finals. He's going to talk about that as well. Anthony Mastronardi in the house, had wings -1.5 plus 320. Great job. Canascat in the house. Geghard A, RKE, Walla Walla Dos, Moses Saucedo, Gio Mercedes. There's Red Girl, Guillermo Zertucci, Moses Saucedo, Jake Lee, JP. David Good says first period over 1.5 for the Blues. I don't know if that's going to be a high-score game. We're going to talk about each one of those games. Stephen Chamberlain in the house made 5-4 on the Nats last night. Got 5-4 on the Nats money line tonight. Man, Stephen Chamberlain, get it, get paid. Okay, so big thing here. And Rye Cape says, how do you go from can't dress yourself to pitching games on the World Series? Impressive, no doubt. Ron Lofton says, thanks for the Stars play. That made me feel good. There's my guy, Nutflush Allen, in the house. First off, big news. Beat the bag. Breeders' Cup Championship Saturday in action. Saturday, also Flash will be playing in this contest. And $250 to the winner, and it is free to play. Join us. Join us in the contest. Here is the link to put your picks in right there. There you go. There's the link. But most importantly, I have a full racing form, a full DRF for you guys. A full DRF. I'm going to grab that right now. The full DRF for my guys. 60 pages of DRF right here. Let's see, where is it? I sent it to Flash, and here it is. A full 60-page DRF for the Breeders' Cup right here. Copy and pasted it. Here you go. And lock it in. Lock it in. I don't know. At this point, I don't know, JP, if there's going to be a Breeders' Cup video. I do know that I'm going to be talking about it a lot on my show, and I'm going to be hammering it all day Saturday and tweeting out my bets nonstop. But I think that's probably the only spot to be. And Guillermo says McKinsey can get that mile and a quarter. I like hearing that, Guillermo. I still believe that's the case. But I'm happy that you care about it, JP. We just not enough people watch the Breeders' Cup video. They watch the Kentucky Derby video. They watched the Belmont video. The Belmont video is still, the first year I came down here, I got 20,000 views. My Belmont video, that's the most I ever got for any of these videos. So, but they don't watch the Breeders' Cup. It seems there's just a small group of us that care enormously. All right, let's talk about this very quickly. Barry Switzer says Stars -1.5 won me 3,500 5-team parlay. Well, it was not the Stars -1.5. It was your great gambling to put yourself in a position where one game was going to cash that 3,500. So that's all you, Barry. I'm not going to take any. That's 100% you. There's Brad, Summercell, DX, Filer, Eric Nisbet says Jorge Madzaval over Diaz. God, it's going to be a fun fight. Lamont Williams says, what about Sacramento Kings solo over? Yeah, Von Polo, it's just not enough, man. Just not getting enough views, for that amount of work. And there's no room in the studio. And yeah, sucks. But Von Polo, I'll be in chat with you, Von Polo. I've got a horse group that I'm going to put you in. And anybody wants to come in, I'm with Guillermo and myself and Jeff Joseph. I'll get you in that group, Von Polo, so you can know exactly, so we can talk nonstop throughout the day. Okay, let's go. Look at Tom Marino. NBA picks are rolling 9 of the last 10 winners. Okay, so first off, let's talk MLB. And Nut Flush Island, I'll be cheering for you tonight. If I lose my small bet, you win your huge bet. So Parlay Poppy gave us the first 5 over 4 with this Scherzer-Greinke situation. Scherzer 3-0, 2.16 ERA, 1.00 whip in the playoffs, but dealing with a cortisone shot a couple days ago, wore a neck brace on the plane. How is he going to be spectacular tonight? That is the question. Zach Greinke, 5.30 ERA, 1.61 whip, traditionally spectacular against these Nationals, but will he be tonight? Both teams hitting much worse than they did in the regular season against righties. In the playoffs, Nats hitting 241, 720 OPS. Astros hitting 248, 752 OPS. It's about what you think is going to happen with Scherzer. And is he going to be great? Because I do know. Nice that you like it, right, Kate? Season 2 of Who Is Doing That. It's going to be out. We're going to do more. 100% we're going to do more because that's the most fun thing in the world. Yes, it's on Twitter, Von Polo. It is on Twitter. And breaking news from Ron Crawford, Suzuki not catching Max. Let's take a look at that lineup right now before we touch on these NHL games. And then we're going to have Junior Brown jumping on the show in 7 minutes. I'm looking forward to that. There's Viper NB in the house. Silver Malco says, Jimmy, Florida Panthers should be a good play tonight. Colorado missing key players. I just don't feel like that works like that in the NHL. And now, I'm not on Colorado, but I'm going to stay off Florida. The big thing going for Florida is that they got their asses kicked by the Canucks last game. That's a bigger angle. These teams step up when they're losing a player, and I'm on the Blues without Tarasenko. So let's go and check out these starting lineups here right now. Here we go. For these Washington Nationals, Game 7 of the World Series. Turner, Eaton, Rendon, Soto, Kendrick, Cabrera, Zimmerman, Gomes behind the plate. Yan Gomes and Robles. For these Astros, Springer, Altuve, Brantley, Bregman, Gurriel, Alvarez, Correa, Chirinos, Reddick. The same lineup we've been seeing. I'm not hedging. I just don't have enough on the line. If it wasn't, if it wasn't $300 that was coming to me, or $350 coming to me because I have plus 200 to 175. If it was $3,000, yeah, sure. I'd put $800 on the Nationals at plus 127. I'd set up a situation where the Nats would give me a G. But at 350, it's just not enough. I'm going to sit back and watch. Astros opened up at minus 115. Now they're minus 138. And this total opened at 7. It's been at 7.5, around that 7.5 level all day long. All day long. Yellow G says, Junior seems like a sharp capper. I like his style. I'm very excited. Very, very excited to have Junior Brown on the show, and I've enjoyed everything I've seen as well. Hit him hard, says Jaylen Brown out for the Celtics. I'm liking the Bucks for the win, minus 3.5. We're going to talk about all those games. I'm already on the Bucks from this morning, but I got minus 3 this morning. So, or did I get 2? We'll double check all that. All right, let's quickly go. We have 5 minutes to talk NHL, $5 to talk NHL. There's Gio Mercedes, our guy, low bagger Gio Mercedes says, shut up, my boy Carlo. First time watching. Carlo, thank you for watching. Big Wednesday night for us, Carlo. And if you run with Gio, then you run with us. We love Gio, so you're a friend of ours already. Carlo in the house. Brad Hansen says Leonard is out today. Yes, Kawhi is out. There's been a 5-point move to the Jazz. That opened at minus 1.5. Now it's at minus 6.5. Minus 6.5. Jonah Reyes says Nats winning today. Tormino says far more pressure on Houston at home since they were up 3-2. Greinke hasn't pitched in spots like this. Sure, there's more pressure on the Astros. Sure. But they've played in Game 7s and won World Series in these situations before. So, I'm fine here. Okay, let's go over NHL quickly. Lightning, Devils. I got the Devils at plus 125 this morning. If you want them right now, the Devils you're going to get like a plus 110. Let me double check this right here. Money line, here we go. You're getting a plus 110. Now, I like that the Lightning called up Luke Schenn. I became a Luke Schenn fan when he was on the Canucks last year, and I wanted us to re-sign him. He protects his players. He's a character guy. But I got the Devils at plus 125, and I like that very, very, very much. I'm on the Jackets -1, and we've all seen this market move towards the Oilers today. Interesting. Now, wow, money's come back. Okay, good. Money's come back on Columbus. Okay, that makes me feel a little better. So this opens up on Columbus at -133. That was yesterday afternoon. By 6:54 at night, it's -147, which is where I locked it in at. Then it was -151 in the morning show, and then it goes all the way up to -143, and I'm like, man, I caught a bad number. But now we have money coming back in on the Blue Jackets. This is a simple fade. There's Jim Rome's a douche in the house. I love it. Von Polo says, I know I don't tweet enough as soon as my baby's born. I'll be on Twitter nonstop every day tweeting my action. I know I don't tweet enough is what he's saying. Von Polo, no worries. Focus on the baby, and we're very excited for you. Okay, so Oilers, Blue Jackets. This is just an Oilers team that I don't believe in. We're getting a nice number because they're 8-4-1. They're on the second half of a back-to-back. We want to fade teams on the second half of back-to-back early in the year because they have heavy legs. I'm on the Jackets -1, and I'm going to focus on that. I'm on the St. Louis Blues -1.5. I got plus 150 there. Plus 150. This is a simple spot and this works in basketball as well. Basketball, hockey, I think this works really well. A team loses their best player, and they come together, and they go on a little winning streak. Doesn't always happen first game. Sometimes it happens in the second game, just like, Crosby is the best player. But what Crosby did with the Pens when they lost all their players, they lost that first game, then they went on the run. I think the Blues roll here without Tarasenko. It opened up -172. It's now at -178. I got plus 150 on the puck line for the St. Louis Blues, and I bet it at plus 140 in my book, but for line shopping reasons here for an official play, I got it at plus 150, and that plus 150 right now, you could get it at plus 155. So people not believing in the Blues without Tarasenko. Silver Malco says Jimmy is under a good play on the Blue Jackets game. Let's go to totals right now and take a look at it. My first instinct when I see an Edmonton-Columbus game is the same when I see a Montreal-Arizona game, and that's that it's going to go under. But I don't trust either goaltending. I don't trust Mike Smith, and I don't trust Korpisalo yet. Because of that, I'm going to lay off totals, and I'm going to stay laying off totals till each team's played about 20 games. So then I can really get a sense of how teams play. But this Arizona-Montreal game going from 5.5 to 6 surprises me. We've watched these teams play, and they play low-scoring hockey. Final card from Ron Crawford spreadsheets, Blues, Colorado, Vancouver. I'm going to grab that. Thank you, Don Corleone. Love cashing with you, my friend. And Take It Easy says Blues are deep. Rest of the team definitely steps up. I want Thomas to step up. I'm a big fan of his. Okay, we got Junior Brown coming in a minute, but we got to talk about these last 3 games very quickly. Aurelia says, I got Jackets team total under. If I was going to get a free play on the total and I didn't have to take money in my pocket, sure, I would take the under. But I just don't trust these goalies enough. So those are my 3 looks. Blues -1.5, Jackets on the -1, and the Devils on the money line. Those are my 3 looks. Alex Daly says, so do you like the Nationals money line? I think that's where the value is. But I got a future on the Astros, and it's not a big one. It'll pay me $350 if they win. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy. Let's talk quickly. We have Panthers, Avalanche here. And Stephen Chamberlain says, like Edmonton after a loss, decent number of Oilers. Reverse puck line will be on my card. I don't like them after a loss. I don't like them after in the middle of a back-to-back. This team is, will they make the playoffs? They might squeak in as the 8th place team in the conference. I do not believe in these Oilers. I think they're going to be a great fade for us moving forward. Eric Jones liking the over in Colorado. Here we go. Panthers, Avalanche. Avalanche are going to tighten the ship without Rantanen and Landeskog. To what extent? There's my guy, Astute Chaos in the house. There's Mohamed Joma also saying Jackets, and Mohamed Joma is all over fading this Oilers team. Fat Fisty says -1 or -1.5, Jimmy, for the Blues. -1.5 here. This is here where we go for a score, Fat Fist. Here's where we go for a score. The Panthers are a high-scoring team, an overs team. In saying that, I'm not sure what the Avalanche are going to be like, and I think they're going to tighten up the ship, so I'm going to stay off of it right now. Then we have Canadians, Coyotes, Price and Kemper. These games last year were all 2-1 games, and we see the total go from 5.5 to 6. It makes me uncomfortable. This Coyotes team has more depth than I expected. Connor Garland, 4 goals in his past 7 games, leads the team with 6 goals. Schmaltzy with 11 points. So they're not getting it from the Kellers or the Kessels. And if you can get depth from your offense, then you can play well. And they are. They're also getting spectacular goaltending from Darcy Kemper. Army has 6 goals past 7 games. This Montreal team confuses me, and I am off Canadians, Coyotes. There's Antonio Rosales saying Astros winning. Then we have the Knuckleheads and the Canucks, and the Canucks are going to be a great fade. But I want them to be favorites when we fade them, and I don't trust this Kings team at all. I want the Canucks to go in and win. I want them to be 8-3-1 because I want to start fading them. Rafa, will you give me the heads up when our Junior Brown is ready to make his debut here at Loshak in the bag? Man, I got Pete on my mind. I keep calling Loshak in the bag. Okay, so there are my 6 looks. And from a totals perspective, we've seen this Kings team playing wide open hockey. It just doesn't make sense to me. Why would they play wide open hockey? It just doesn't make sense to me. But that's what they're playing under McClellan. They have a big, slow roster. They're playing wide open hockey. I'm on 3 plays. We're eating in NHL, sitting with a 24.47% ROI. I'm keeping my quantity of plays down. Muhammad Joma says Vancouver is good. Jimmy, they're not going to make the playoffs. So I'll be happy that you believe in my Nucks because they're not going to be a playoff team. All right, there it is. And take it easy. Really liking the reverse play that Steve Chamberlain's on with the Edmonton Oilers. Beautiful. Thumbs up from Rafa. So there are my 3 NHL looks. I am staying off the big Game 7 of the World Series. Parlay Poppy's on that first 5 over. And I don't have much money on it. $350 if the Astros win, and I'll just let that ride. All right. It is time for a debut here on Betting with the Bag. I have become a big fan of your next guest, loving his work on Jammin' with J Money, and now we have him live on Betting with the Bag and an 11-game NBA card to break down. Please welcome to the show, Junior Brown in the house. Junior Brown, thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing on this Wednesday evening?
What's going on, Jimmy? How you doing?
I'm doing great. NHL rolling for me. I've lost $1,000 in the last 2 weeks in NFL, but I've covered that all with NBA and NHL. So I feel like I'm ready to fire some shots at this NBA card, and I'm very excited to have you on the show breaking it down. Let's get to work, and we're going to start right here. Let me get to my notes. We're going to start right here with Timberwolves, Sixers. This opens at 226 total, and it's gone all the way down to 222. We've seen a 4-point drop in the total. Sixers have been around 7.5 or 7 all day. They are back at 7. So from an opening line, we've seen a 2-cent move to these Timberwolves, who are 3-0 overall, 2-0 on the road, scoring 123 or 121.3 points per game, and have the reigning Western Conference Player of the Week in Karl Anthony Towns. How are you attacking this game, Junior Brown, Timberwolves, Sixers?
Before I get into that, I just want to thank you for having me on the show, Jimmy. I've been a big fan for many years, watching you, the Whale Capper, Donnie Rightside break it down, so I'm happy to be here. Let's get to it. I got Sixers minus 6.5 early. I think that the Sixers match up really well with this Timberwolves team. If you look at how the Timberwolves have been winning their games, they're basically relying heavily on Karl Anthony Towns, who's one of the best players in the NBA. I'm just not a big Andrew Wiggins believer. I don't think he can sustain what he's doing right now. And realistically, he's averaging, 21 points a game and less than 1 assist a game. If you look at their roster, he's the only guy playing over 20 minutes getting less than 1 assist a game. I think that the Sixers can throw Embiid and Al Horford at Karl Anthony Towns. And as for Andrew Wiggins, they can throw Simmons. They can throw Tobias Harris. I just like the Sixers in this spot. Their defense has been great. Their offense still has some questions, but I think that the pace that they play at, I think that they can take care of the 6.5. I know right now it's shown as 7.5, but I'm pretty confident the Sixers can take care of business here.
I like that look. It's too chaos leaning towards the under. After that breakdown I'm close to jumping on it myself. Torino Torres says Embiid has dominated Towns and Philly's much better at home. I'd lean Philly and the over. Minnesota has played a very weak schedule. Says Towns can score, but he plays no defense. Embiid should dominate. It's clear that I think it's clear that Wiggins has been disrespected enough by everybody, fans and players as well. I mean, he's just not even in the top 100 in NBA, and he's stepping up. But your assist point is very important. He's not distributing. He's hitting the late shot, but will he get an opportunity here? Do you understand this market move from 226 down to 222 in the total?
I just think that the Sixers' offense is pretty inconsistent while their defense is really strong. I would say that that's probably what it is. And if, again, the T-Wolves are like a top-heavy team, right? Like, if you can slow down their top two guys, where's the production coming from other than them? I mean, Robert Covington maybe, but the other guys on their roster, I don't see anybody that's really consistent. I know that Jeff Teague has been playing a lot better than he did last year, but it's only been a couple of games. It's been a small sample size. I'm just basically taking this spot, just not believing in what Minnesota's done. Adding that to the fact that the 76ers have the exact type of roster, the exact type of defense that can slow these guys down, in my opinion, anyway.
I think it's a great call, and I am tailing Junior Brown. First game he breaks down, I am tailing. That's wild. Okay, -7 and -103 is at Pinnacle. Bet365 still has the hook there at 7.5, but line shopping here at SBR odds, -7 and -103. I'm jumping in. That makes sense to me. I am jumping in. Dutch Boy Fresh says Simmons will fill it up tonight and no one to hold him. Tomorino says Philadelphia much better in up-tempo games. Minnesota has been playing fast. There we go. Backing the Sixers right now. And Yellow Jesus says Junior might be the best NBA capper on SBR. And now we get him on our show. Let's go into Bulls Cavaliers. I was not initially on the Bulls. My first instinct was the same reason why I stayed off them in the Knicks game. Now, I didn't have the balls to take the Knicks, but I said, how can we take this team as a favorite on the road against anybody in the association? It just didn't make sense to me. Then we had Teddy Covers come on and he said, look, the Bulls were so angry about that missed opportunity against the Knicks. Listen to them in interviews. They want to fire again. They want another opportunity, and this time they will close. After thinking about that for a little while, I know the Cavs have been good, and Bayline has been, he's been spectacular. He's added, changed the whole energy in that locker room. But for me, I agree that the Bulls aren't going to do what they did to the Knicks, not scoring for the last 3 minutes, 33 seconds, allowing a Knicks team to go on a 15-0 run. I have taken the Bulls at -2 and -105, and the market's gone against me. Are you making a move on Bulls Cavs?
No. I'm staying far away from this game. I don't really like to get in the business of betting on two bad teams, and that's what these teams are right now. I know the Bulls have a lot of potential, but I just don't like their coach. I think their coach needs to prove that he's an NBA caliber head coach. I know he was a Spurs assistant. That seems to be like the ultimate pass in the NBA, but he's got to start winning on his own. If you look at the roster, they're full of talent. One of the things that they need to happen is Lauri Markkanen has started off really slow, and he's a really good player with a really bright future, but he's got to get it going. This team's not talented enough for him to be struggling and them to still win games. So they're going to need Lauri Markkanen to step it up. Me personally, I'm just staying away from this game because these teams, I can't say that I have a good handle of what they are right now. I hate the Cavs lineup. I mean, Colin Sexton is their highest usage rating guy, and he averages more turnovers than assists. He averages 17 points on like 15 shots a game. There's nothing that they do that's efficient. So I just need to see both of these teams play more before I can even claim to have some kind of a handle on what's going on with them.
That makes sense. And, we don't need to fire shots at the whole board. And I wasn't going to initially, but I did jump on the Bulls. 1-3 on the season. The Cavs are 1-0 at home, but I did jump on these Bulls. Okay, let's keep it rolling along. Next up, we have Knicks Magic, Canadian. I'm a Canadian as well. A lot of people in the chat asking, where are you from? And I know you've spent some time down here in Costa Rica as well. Junior Brown, where are you from up north?
I'm from all over the place now. I was grew up in Montreal, moved to Toronto in high school, and then I decided to go abroad. That's how I ended up in Costa Rica. Pura Vida, beautiful place, as you know yourself. Hope to be back there soon. We got to go for a drink, Jimmy, when I get back.
Oh, we will go for several. We will go for several, my friend. I'm so excited about RJ Barrett, just proud and excited. And I was a huge fan of his dad and really believe that he kept that Canadian program together. Bobby Portis erupts last game. I was on the Raptors against the Magic. You know, Isaac is the difference maker for this basketball team, but Vucevic can be in situations where he gets bullied, and Gasol and Ibaka did that. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that Julius Randle's going to do that to Vucevic at all, by any means. But I'm just not sure if this is too many points for this Magic team. They opened up at 8.5. Now they're at 9.5. They've had shooting woes all year. Is this when they break out of it? Are they going to smash the Knicks here?
I actually have the under 53 in the first quarter. I think that Orlando hangs their hat on defense. The Knicks struggle to score. I think that Orlando's trying to they've lost a couple of games in a row, some tough ones, but they're trying to get their season right. They're at home against a weak team, and they're the type of team, they made the playoffs last year by beating the teams that they're better than. They're better than this Knicks team. The Knicks have a lot of trouble scoring. I mean, Julius Randle, he's doing a little too much right now. He needs to settle down, but then you look around at the roster, other than RJ Barrett, where is he really getting help from? So I think that plays right into the Magic's hands. They can throw Jonathan Isaac at RJ Barrett. They can throw Aaron Gordon at him. They can throw a couple of different guys on that roster. I just don't like this spot for the Knicks at all. I don't know if I would lay that many points with Orlando in the game because I just think their offense is not consistent enough. So I just took the under with the thinking that Orlando's going to come in and do what they do, which is play defense, and the Knicks are going to do what they do, which is struggle to score.
Yeah, that all makes sense. In the first half under, it makes sense. Why does the first half appeal to you more than the full game?
Oh, no, I took the first quarter.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry. First quarter, of course, at 53. What the hell was I saying? Why does the first quarter appeal to you more than the full game?
What is it, -9 for the Magic?
Yeah. Oh, but I mean the total.
The Magic are 9 points better than anybody.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I mean, why do you like the under first quarter at 53 rather than the full game at 210?
Oh, I apologize. I misunderstood your question.
No problem.
I just think that the Magic are going to come through trying to set a certain tone. But if you look at the Knicks, the way that they've played, because I'm still not too sure about the Knicks, they've been frisky in all their games. Like, they've hung around. I think other than the Boston game, they had a shout to, like, compete until the end of each game. So I feel like that could possibly continue. Again, we have so little information to go by so early in the season, so I'm still trying to fill these teams out. I just think that the Knicks are just a weird, frisky type team. But the one pattern that I've noticed with them in all of their games is they tend to start off kind of slow, and Magic start off slow in every game. So I'm just kind of going by that. I'm trying to play the spot more than anything else.
Yeah, I get it. And you guys have been eating off first quarter or first half unders so far this year on Jammin' with J Money, so why stop now? Shout out to Steve Dunn, first-time watcher in the house. Let's move on to Pistons Raptors. Casey coming back to Toronto. Pistons playing without Griffin. I'm not sure if you know if Reggie Jackson will be in the lineup. He's been dealing with lower back tightness. You know, I like the Raptors against the Magic. I don't know about the spread going up to 9. It does make me a little uncomfortable. We haven't seen this Kawhi-less Raptors team beat up teams yet. And or we have seen them, well, I guess beat up. It was Chicago, I guess, that they beat up. But other than that, at home, I don't know. It makes me a little hesitant right now to back them here. Are you making a move with these Raptors? This total opened up at 211.5, now 213.5. Trying to open up at -8, now -9. Junior Brown, Pistons, Raptors.
I don't have a play on this game, but if I did, it would be Raptors. I think the Raptors here. The Raptors are about to go on a really long road trip. Like, after this game on Saturday, they play the Bucks. Then they come home to Sacramento. And then they have a 5-game West Coast road trip where at some point they play the Lakers and Clippers on back-to-back nights. Like, they got a really heavy schedule after these next 2 games. I think that the next 3 games. They got to take care of business against the Pistons tonight because of, playing against the Bucks. They're obviously going to be underdogs. They're going in there without Kawhi. It's a completely different situation than last year. Clearly, the Bucks are going to want some revenge for the Raptors ending their season. So they need to take this win, take the win against Sacramento after they play the Bucks before they go on that West Coast road trip where you have no idea how that's going to go, right? Because we didn't know what the Raptors are going to look like coming into the season. I think that we're going to have a much better idea of what kind of squad they are once they come home from this West Coast road trip. So while they're still at home, they have to take care of business against the Pistons. So I don't have an official play on this game, but if I did, it's Raptors or I'm not touching it.
Yeah, Raptors are past. That makes sense to me. I'm not going to pull the trigger, although I expect the Raptors to take care of business, but will they do it by 10? Tormino says Toronto backcourt is far better than Detroit. Mally Mal in the house. Rob Elias liking the Raptors. Dutch Boy fresh on that first half under 110. Tormino says, the backcourt much better. Okay, let's keep rolling along. Bucks, Celtics. I did take the Bucks -3 at -105. Now there's no Jaylen Brown, but that wasn't the issue for me. And we see 4 is on the board now at Heritage, 3.5s everywhere else. The issue for me was the injuries to the Celtics front court. The whole expectation for me was there was going to be no Cantor, and then Dice was questionable. Who was going to stop the Milwaukee Bigs? And the answer I came up with is nobody. So I'm backing the Bucks here. I like that they lost to the Suns. I like that they didn't look good against the Cavs till there was 5 or 6 minutes left in the game. So I feel like they're hungry and they want to send Boston a message. I'm on the Bucks -3. This total opened up at 222, now 223.5. Are you making a move on Bucks Celtics?
I haven't yet, but I think I'm going to go Bucks. I like the spot for the Bucks. First of all, Giannis, last year when they had Horford, when they had better defenders in the front court, he would kill the Celtics. So I don't see how that's going to change this year. If you watch the Celtics games, they play Jaylen Brown, Gordon Hayward, and Jason Tatum a lot at the same time. And what ends up happening is one of those three gets switched on the other team's power forward. If one of those three guys has the responsibility of having to stop Giannis, that's not going to work out. I'm a little bit scared to touch the Bucks right now because they need a little bit more consistency from some of their other guys. Like Eric Bledsoe looks horrible right now. And another thing that's a little bit different for the Bucks from last year is that I think they were like top 10, 12 in free throws a game. Right now they're like in the bottom 5, 6. They got to get that up. As many threes as they shoot, they got to get easy baskets. They're going to have to get their free throws up. That's why their offense has looked a little bit inconsistent to start the season. If they can be aggressive against this very thin Celtics front line and get their free throws up, they should be able to cover the 4, I think.
I think so too. I think they're going to take care of business here. We got people on either side of the total. Chris Garza on the under, Stu Chaos on the over. What do you think of this total that's now sitting at 223.5? What's your expectation of pace?
I would say under. The Bucks play at the fastest pace in the league. There's no chance the Celtics at home are going to try and match that pace. They're going to try and slow the game down. That's how they tend to play. Brad Stevens has this offense that they go through a couple of different looks, set a bunch of screens, a lot of great motion. It's a great offense, but it moves really slow, which is why the last couple of years their offensive rating has been pretty low and their pace has been relatively low. It's a little bit faster this year, but they're playing a smaller lineup without Horford in there. But I think that. Personally, it leans towards the over. 223 seems like a lot of points for these two teams.
I like it. Let's move on to Pacers.
Oh, sorry, Jimmy. And the other thing,
yes.
You just asked me about the pace. I think that this game is going to have a feel of a playoff game, and those games are usually slower in pace. These teams hate each other real bad, so I feel like it's going to be a playoff atmosphere, and it's going to be a little bit slower in pace.
I agree. Sharp Money birthday this week. My boy's birthday this week. Man, happy birthday to your son, Sharp Money. Love that, man. Keep it in the family. Keep the capping in the family. That's wonderful stuff. Sharp Money, thank you so much for joining us. Let's move on to Pacers Nets. Now, I didn't fall for the Pacers last game against the Pistons. I mean, I didn't take the Pistons, but I do not like what I see from this Pacers team. They are not rebounding the ball at all. They're not getting much distribution. And to me, they're not to be trusted, but I don't want these Nets either. So we have an angry Pacers team and a Nets team that needs Kyrie to go for 40 to have a chance here. Brooklyn allowing 123.3 points per game. Opponent shooting 45.9% against them, 43.6% on three-pointers. I mean, they're not defending the perimeter at all. But I guess I don't trust either team here, and that's kept me off. Brooklyn opens up at -3.5. That's where they stand right now. This total opened up at 220.5. It's gone up to 221.5 or 221. Are you making a move on Pacers Nets?
I haven't yet, but I'm probably going to go with the Nets here. You just you just mentioned something about the Nets are not covering the perimeter at all. The Pacers are 29th in the league in threes made. They don't have any kind of perimeter game. And the thing that I like the least about the Pacers right now, Malcolm Brogdon is their point guard. And this is not to disrespect Malcolm Brogdon because his stats are actually really impressive. He's averaging almost 11 assists and less than 2 turnovers a game. So you can't really ask him to do more. But here's the problem. Is Malcolm Brogdon a point guard? That's the guy that's supposed to lead your team every night. And if he plays bad, then you're going to lose. I know obviously Oladipo is the leader of that team and he has a long-term injury. But the Malcolm Brogdon as the primary playmaker, I don't like that at all. He's averaging 11 assists a game, and yet somehow they're 24th in the league in assists. So that tells you that it's Malcolm Brogdon or nothing. I can't put money on a team that's basically relying on him to be their playmaker. And in terms of rebounding, I thought that Turner and Sabonis had been playing pretty well, but then I looked deeper and it's well, they're not getting any help. This team is also in the bottom half of the league in rebounding, and that shouldn't be when you look up and down this roster. I have so many questions about this Pacer team, not enough answers. Whereas the Nets, yeah, they're inconsistent, but who on the Pacers is guarding Kyrie Irving in that starting lineup, first of all? And besides Kyrie Irving, Karis LeVert is out there getting buckets. Karis LeVert is shoot first, shoot second, and possibly pass third. And I don't have a problem with that because on that roster, that's what he has to do. I think the combination of Spencer Dinwiddie, Kyrie Irving, and Karis LeVert is going to cause these guys all kinds of problems tonight. I haven't made an official play, but I'm leaning towards the Nets.
Yeah, that is a great breakdown. Astute Chaos says, Junior, you're spot on. That's not his position. Bookie Lover Q says he's on point. Brogdon is not a point guard. Teddy B, great basketball capper. Teddy B joining us, says, Jimmy, the Pacers are 4-0 against spread last 4 meetings in Brooklyn. Pacers are 8-2 against spread in the last 10 meetings. Pacers 4-0 last 4 meetings in Brooklyn. I don't know how much. I'm with Mally Mal, who says Teddy B, this is the new Pacers team. Tomer says Indiana, totally different look from last year. That's a game I'm going to watch and learn. Let's move on to Blazers, Thunder, Portland, Oklahoma City. Portland opening up at -1, 1.5. There's a 2 at Bovada. This total opened up at 222.5, now 221.5. For me, the way I break down Blazers on the road is that the longer they're on the road, the worse they play. Very, minute-heavy, guard-heavy group, and now they don't have Collins. I know that Steven Adams is banged up, and I'm not sure if he's going to be available, but still I'm hesitant to back the Blazers. Talking about a team that's not getting any distribution, both these teams are getting, Blazers averaging 17 assists per game, Thunder 18.8, Chris Paul averaging 3.3 assists per game. Are you making a move on Blazers Thunder?
I kind of want to. I haven't made an official play yet, but the fact that Steven Adams is probably not good to go, that's just too much for Oklahoma City to overcome. There are other bigs. What are they really offering you? They're going to have a lot of problems against the Portland front line. I'm not in love with the Blazers wing players, but Lillard and CJ McCollum, that's a great tandem. It's one of the best guard tandems in the league. They got a great chemistry. The team is extremely is as top heavy as it gets in the NBA, but at the same time, those two players are just really great players. The no Steven Adams, like I said, before the season started, we really didn't even know what this Oklahoma City Thunder team was going to be. They've actually been able to pick up some good results, and they've actually been able to rely on Dennis Schroeder off the bench. He's been cooking whoever the other teams have poised on the point guard is. Dennis Schroeder's absolutely been taking advantage of that, but again, the sample sizes are just so small right now. Am I really relying on Dennis Schroeder? I don't think so. I'm going to lean more towards Portland here, especially if Steven Adams can't go.
It makes sense. I'm going to stay off in this spot, but I can understand why you would. Sharp Money says Blazers need to liven up. Rob Elliott says money continues to come in on the Nationals. There's value with that plus spot, but I am just going to sit back and watch. Let's move on to Rockets, Wizards. This Wizards team has some fight in them. Rockets open up at -8. There are 7.5 now on the board. This total's gone up 3.5 points. It's 3 points at Pinnacle from 230.5 to 233.5, but there's 234s, and there's now a 234.5 at Heritage. This Rockets team is just barely getting by. They're just not settled. Harden broke out of that shooting slump with an easy 40. Westbrook, doing his thing, 21, 12, and 9 yesterday. And our guy, I know you'll love him too if you're from the North. PJ Tucker has looked awesome this year, but the Wizards have fighting them. Davis Bertans playing good. Ish Smith. You have Rui Hachimura playing well. Isaiah Thomas. It's great to see him back on the floor. And I just feel like, can I trust the Rockets to go into Washington and care? I don't know if I can. Play 48 minutes? I don't know if I can. You making a move on Rockets, Wizards?
Yeah, I made an early move on this one. I took the Rockets -4 in the first half. I think that the Rockets, at some point, James Harden is not going to keep shooting like 20-something% from the field. If I'm James Harden and I'm trying to get right, and I look at this Wizards roster, I'm looking to go off here. Russell Westbrook has actually been pretty consistent. We'll see if that keeps up. But I just think that at some point, James Harden is going to get closer to normal than not. Like, he's averaging 29 points a game on like 20-something% shooting. That's just not going to continue. He's just way too talented of a player. This Rockets roster is much more talented than this Wizards roster. I know it's obviously not as simple as that. The Wizards have looked pretty good, especially on defense. They're playing much better defense than they normally do. I just feel like they're relying on a lot of unknowns. Like, the Japanese kid Rui Nakamura, he's doing so much for that team. Is that going to be able to keep up? I just don't think so. I think that this is if the Rockets can't get right in this game, I would have some serious concerns. I'm already a little bit nervous about this because remember last year it took the Rockets a really, really long time to get off their ass and start playing. So hopefully they don't have a repeat of that this year. But if they don't come through in this spot, I'm gonna stay off them for a while until we can figure out what's going on over there. But I got Rockets -4 as an official play.
Rockets -4 first half. I get it. I get it. This is a game where I'm just gonna watch and learn. Let's move on to Clippers Jazz. No Kawhi. This team has looked so good without Kawhi. So good, but they're just 3-1. I mean, it's early in the year. Jazz playing great defense as always, not getting much from Conley. And now we've seen this 5-point move from 1.5 to 6.5 due to no Kawhi. At 6.5, do the Clippers have value all of a sudden at plus 6.5? This total opened up at 216.5, now 215.5. Are you making a move on Clippers Jazz?
Yeah, I bet the under first quarter, under 55.5. I bet that actually before I knew Kawhi was out. I did that really early this morning. Kawhi being out actually is even better for me, to be honest, because he's averaging, like 28 points a game. And if you look at the matchup that he would have had in this game, he would have probably been guarded by Bogdanovich. Bogdanovich is a decent player, but he can't stop Kawhi. I mean, nobody can stop Kawhi Leonard, but Bogdanovich really can't stop Kawhi Leonard, right? So even though you lose Kawhi Leonard's defense towards the under, I think that losing his offense is actually more valuable for anyone that has the under. I think that the Jazz offense is super inconsistent, to say the least. You were very generous with what you said about Mike Conley. He's averaging 7 points a game on 15% shooting or some nonsense like that. Obviously, that's not going to continue, but Patrick Beverley is not the guy that you want to get right against. So I just think that the Jazz are going to struggle to score. The Clippers are going to struggle to score. So I got the under first quarter at 55.5.
Do you think that we should make a move on a full game under after that breakdown and Utah knowing that they're going to play a tight defensive game? Do you think that we go and try to get under this 215.5?
Honestly, you definitely can't take the over because, like I said, the Jazz more often than not are trying to be closer to 100 than, whereas the Clippers are playing more towards 110, 115. I just think the Jazz, in every way, shape, or form, the way that their team is built, they're still playing towards the under. I know they made these moves to help Donovan Mitchell on offense. That hasn't worked. And look, these guys could break it at any time. Mike Conley could go off. Bogdanovich has already had a good game. He could go off at any time. But I'm just of the mindset it's still really early in the season. Until I see you do it, just like you're thinking with the Rockets, I'm sure that in your mind you believe that the Rockets are going to beat the Wizards, but you want to see them do it, right? You want to see them prove that they've got what it takes to blow out the teams they're supposed to blow out. I think I need to see the Jazz, forget about beating the Clippers, just click on offense, just look consistent on offense. I already know they can play defense. They play they have the number one rated defense in the league again this year. That's not going to change. So I'm just leaning towards the under because there's no way I'm taking a Jazz over right now. 215 is not that many points, but I just feel like if the Jazz are going to beat the Clippers, it's not going to be in a up-down running game, right? And the Clippers offense, by the way, without Kawhi Leonard, do we really know what we're going to see? Like it's going to be a lot of Lou Williams and who else? So I just think this leads all the way to the under.
I do too. And I am jumping in on the under 215 and a half. Under 215 and a half, I'm getting a minus 103. That's available at Pinnacle. This is my second addition to the show. We have Junior Brown here on the show, star of Jammin' with Jay Money, live and direct here on Betting with the Bag, and I love having him here. Let's talk Hornets Kings. We just have two more games, and then we will move over to Al Mack, and Al Mack has a great card he wants to break down as well. Hornets Kings. This Kings squad, the total opened up at 224. It's now down to 223. We saw sevens and a halves earlier. Has that changed? No. Open at 7, now at 7.5. Man, they're asking a lot of Rashawn Holmes, and I know he's played very well. But this team without Bagley, this team with injuries to De'Aaron Fox and Buddy Hield, I know they played through them, but you can tell that they're hurting, and they don't look good. And this Hornets team has some fight in them. I actually initially was thinking about making a move on the Hornets. Teddy Covers was saying he was thinking of making a move on the Kings. We have some cappers in the chat hammering the Kings. I don't know what to do on this spot, and I'm likely to stay off. Are you making a move on Hornets Kings?
This is another one of those cases where I just don't want to get involved in putting money on two bad teams. I know I know the Kings are good on paper, but that's all they are, is good on paper. In my opinion, the Hornets have the worst roster in the NBA, but I've watched all their games so far, and they actually look pretty frisky, man. They put up a lot of fight. They got some heart. They play hard, and that means something in the NBA because, it's a long season. Obviously, it's still very early, so everybody's playing hard, but it would be really easy for the Hornets to, not show fight, be selfish. Like I thought Terry Rozier, for example, was going to come in, kind of be selfish, try to shine, but he seems like he's actually trying to be the best point guard he can be and make the right decisions for his team. And for that reason, it kind of gives me pause because, like, if we're just talking about right now, today, the Kings are not 7.5 points better than anybody. I want to piggyback off something you just said. De'Aaron Fox and Buddy Hield absolutely don't look right. Buddy Hield had a sprained ankle in that game earlier in the season against the Suns, and he has not looked right at all. I think he's shooting like 35% from the field. If Buddy Hield and De'Aaron Fox are not right, the Kings are not right, especially not without Marvin Bagley. So this is a stay away from me just because it's two bad teams, and it's just way too many points for a bad team to be laying against anybody, honestly.
I agree. Our guy, Flipper13, is on the under. What do you think about the total in this game?
I want to give you something, Jimmy, but I have no feel for these two teams. I honestly don't. First of all, if the Kings can't win this game, how much longer does Luke Walton have? I mean, at some point, you got to start pointing the finger at this guy. I mean, yeah, he did a good job with the Warriors, but look at the Warriors roster that he was coaching. That was already a well-oiled machine that he just had to manage, not to discredit the job that he did. But then he went to L.A. They didn't believe in him. He's gotten another chance here in Sacramento. I think everybody should get a chance. He's still a young coach, a very young guy. I mean, I remember watching Luke Walton in college. That being said, at some point, he's got to start producing wins. He's got a lot of talent on this team. And they're not just losing games. They're getting smacked up. So they have to – if they don't cover and they just win, that's a start. But they should really cover in this game. But I just can't believe in this team until I see them do it. If they can't do it against the Hornets, man – a lot of questions got to be asked about Luke Walton.
Yeah, it's going to be a long year again in Sacramento. Poor Vlade. Suns, Warriors at 5 points. It's stuck there all day. These Suns are playing good basketball. Warriors won 18 of their past 19 head-to-heads with the Suns. We know this is a different Warriors club. Are you making a move on Suns Warriors, Junior?
I'm thinking of taking over. I feel like Devin Booker is already got 40 points in his mind. He's going to try and score as many points as possible. He sees that this Warriors team plays absolutely no defense. Obviously, D'Angelo Russell nor Steph Curry can guard Devin Booker, so he's liable to go off. The Suns have been playing really well, actually, and I know that their games have been leaning towards the under, but I just think that if you're Golden State, all right, so you lost your first home game to the Clippers, who are supposedly the best team in the NBA according to the experts. You got to come home now in your new building, your new arena, and get a win against this Phoenix team. So I just think that they're going to play at a fast pace. Playing at a slower pace does not suit them at all. I think Phoenix, the way that their roster's built, they can play fast or slow. I think that the 220.5 is a little bit much. I'm not sure if it's moved at all since I saw it. I think it's even gone up to like 230.5 at this point. It's kind of a lot of points, so that gives me pause. But if I do touch this game, it's going to be the over 230.5 because Golden State just does not guard anybody. And Phoenix, I think, has the players to put up points.
Yeah, or maybe just a prop bet on Booker points over. I'm going to check what that is right now. What a treat it is to have Junior Brown on this show. Low baggers out there, follow Junior Brown on Twitter. I can't wait to do more work with them. Follow him on Twitter. It's at JR Brown. That's Brown with an E. So at JRBROWNE 21. At Junior Brown 21. Follow this man on Twitter, and I can't wait to have him on the show more. Thank you so much for bringing all of your insights to the show and sharing your hard work. Junior Brown, have a monster night. Do you mind going over your official plays once more and telling us a little bit about Jammin' with J Money?
Yeah, man. Jammin' with J Money is on every day, Monday to Saturday, 1 Eastern, 12 Midwest, 10 Pacific. We're just trying to give you guys the best insights. These are free picks, but listen, we're not going to give you picks that we don't believe in. We're just trying to give you some insight on the games, help you guys make the best decision for your investments. You can catch my columns daily on SBR, the same place that you can catch Jordan Sharp's columns, who's also on Jammin' with J Money. We appreciate all the support. And Jimmy, man, it's an honor. I've been watching you for years, so I'm glad to be on the show. Hopefully I can do it again sometime, man.
Oh, I'd like to have you on weekly. I'll be in touch with you shortly. There he is, Junior Brown on the show. What a great debut from our guy, Junior Brown. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful night, and good luck with your action, Junior.
Thank you. Just to give me my quicks real quick, because I didn't even answer your question. So I got the Sixers -6.5 full game. I've got Houston -4 first half. I've got the under 53 Knicks Magic, under 55.5 Jazz Clippers. Thanks for the opportunity, Jimmy. Have a great show, man. Low baggers, what's up?
I love it. I love it. New addition to the fam, Junior Brown in the house. Okay, we go right from Junior Brown to Al Mack, coming to us live from Toronto, Ontario, from the 6. Al Mack, how are you doing on this Wednesday evening?
Good, man. What's up? How's it going?
It's going well, and I love the card that you want to talk about tonight. I've got it right in front of me, so let's get it started. And we're going to start with the World Series, but everything else Al wants to talk about we haven't touched on at all today. So I'm looking forward to it. Al wants to talk World Series. Game 7 of the World Series, Al. Are you going back to the well with your first inning score? What's your plan to attack this game?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's been 35 postseason games so far in the MLB this year. 24 of them, a run has been scored in the first inning. So if you bet $100 on that prop every single time, you'd be up $1,362. So technically, I could bet $1,362 on a run to be scored in the first inning. If I lose, I'll still come out, we'll say, $1,361, that if I lose, I'll be up $1. So that's the kind of profits we've been dealing with that prop. So it's a free roll tonight. I don't know. I have the Astros and the Nationals both. I have futures on both teams. I have to make a small bet on the Nationals just to cover the liability that I have on the Astros. So I've given them a bunch of chances and they haven't been able to pull through. So it's time to hedge. I'll either win my money back if the Nationals win, or I'll profit if the Astros win. But I think there's going to be runs scored in this game. I think both of these pitchers are coming in at kind of a vulnerable time. Greinke has pitched well against the Nationals in this series, but I think he's about to be figured out. And then I don't know if Scherzer is healthy enough to help this team. to his full ability. I think this is going to be a type of a sideshow game. Sit back and enjoy. I wouldn't be surprised if there's up to 10 runs or more in this game. So I got the over 7 at -140, the first 5 over 3.5 at -145, and a nice prop that you can get at 365 is the rest of the game will have more runs than the first 5 innings. I bet the yes on that at +140. I just think this is going to be a wacky game. It's a wacky, weird amusement park type field. The stadium, it's just wonky there. The games tend to start close and then finish far apart from each other. So I just think this is going to be a crazy game. I don't know who's going to win, but I think there's going to be runs.
Think there is going to be runs, and I get it. Farshad Asami on the Nationals +120. Farshad Asami also on the Lightning over and the Wild under. I like it. So there is Al's action, his final action on this MLB season. Next up, Al wants to talk TFC Atlanta MLS Eastern Conference Finals. You've had a great read on TFC. How are you handling this match?
Yeah, full disclosure, I'm going to be kind of biased here. I just think TFC it has a chance here. I think that they're plus 340 dogs on the 3-way. A lot of money has come in against Atlanta. They opened up at around -210, and now they're about -138. So I'm not alone here. TFC striker Jose Altidore, he hasn't played in the postseason yet. He's going to be a game time decision. But Toronto's been able to, they got past DC, they got past NYFC. Without him, I think they can do the same tonight. I got TFC on the Asian handicap plus 0.75. I got it at -105. It's now moved to -103. So there's been a bit of action on that. Another thing that I really like is in these games, these playoff games, the first half draw. I got the first half draw at +150. Even if both teams score, I think that it's going to be a lot of these games. We've seen the either both teams score early and it's slow down, or it's just it starts slow and moves all the way into more of a shootout. But I'm going all out here. Give me TFC plus 400 outright. TFC or draw plus 110. TFC to advance plus 200. TFC draw no bet plus 240. I like the over 3 at -134, and then the Alex Classic, the over 2.5 in both teams to score at -125. And then my favorite play, Alessandro Puzzullo. The kid is just a magician for TFC. You can get him to score at plus 200, so I like that play as well. I'm heavily involved in this game.
Eddie Obasoan says TFC not beating Atlanta, and I'm from Toronto. But AM, barbecue sauce titty play of the day, Toronto FC money line at plus 355. There we go. Russell Gordy, I'm on 3 looks. I got the Devils early. I got them all this morning. So I got the Devils at plus 125. I don't know if I take them at plus 105, but I got them plus 125. And then I'm on the Jackets on the -1 line. And the Blues on the puck line -1.5. Okay, Al, let's keep rolling. Next up, you want to talk about the Canelo fight. Canelo Kovalev, a big fight coming up this weekend. We have UFC covered tomorrow, but nobody talked about this Canelo fight. Al Mack, take it away.
Yeah, so Canelo is moving up here 2 weight classes. He's moving up to fight for the WBO light heavyweight title against Sergey Kovalev. The last time Kovalev fought, I actually watched the fight at Gulfstream Park in Miami. That was on August 24th. He beat Anthony Yard in the 11th round by knockout. I had him to win inside the distance. It was probably my biggest bet of that week. I'm really high on Kovalev. I'm not alone here. I think Canelo is kind of out of his element. Kovalev is the older fighter. He's 36 years old, but he has just 38 pro fights. Canelo has 55. Canelo is 29. He has 17 more pro fights than Sergey. So as far as miles go, these two are a lot more closer than the public thinks. Kovalev is 6 feet tall, 183 centimeters reach. He has 2 inches and 5 centimeters reach on Canelo, and he has even bigger reach on than he did with Golovkin. And Golovkin against Canelo was able to handle him on the inside. I think that Kovalev is a career lightweight. He is the longer fighter. He has fought at this size his entire career. His career has kind of been rejuvenated by a new trainer, American boxing legend Buddy McGirt. I just think that Canelo is going to try to fight this fight on the inside like he has against everybody, but this is a light heavyweight fight. If Kovalev catches him with that jab that he caught Yard with, I think it could be lights out for Canelo. Kovalev is a plus 300 underdog in this fight. I think that's absolutely crazy. He's a tall, long, rangy guy. He's fought top guys in this division for his whole career. He's not the same guy that fought Andre Ward in 2016 and 2017. But if he's anything like what we saw against Yard just a few months ago, I think it'll be enough to cause Canelo a lot of problems. This fight is not as cut as dry as the odds might have you believe. Kovalev's jab is going to come down that pipe hard and fast. If Canelo's looking to put hurt on Kovalev's body, he's going to have to go through that jab, and I think it's not going to be enough. I think Kovalev can knock out Canelo. Canelo's never been knocked out in his professional career. You can get Kovalev by KO at plus 550. Kovalev to win plus 300. And then if you want, I think this might go over 10.5 rounds. So I'd like Kovalev to win between the 10th and the 12th round, or you can bet either fighter to win 10th or 12th round. That's at plus 850. I just think if Canelo wins this fight, it's going to be by decision. If Kovalev wins this fight, it's going to be inside the distance. As we've seen before countless times, boxing is not the most honest sport in the world, so don't be shocked if Kovalev seems to have the advantage on the scorecards and ends up losing this fight by a close decision. It's the nature of the sport. Golden Boy and DAZN, they're not going to let their prize Mexican champion go out easily to this aging Russian. But like I said, Kovalev's going to win. He needs to do it within 12 rounds of boxing and not let the judges decide for him. But I just think Canelo moving up 2 weight classes, kind of silly move. I really think Kovalev can beat him here.
A lot of people liking Canelo, but Fat Fist is with you. Fat Fist says Canelo is getting knocked out. Man, at plus 300, why not take a shot? Sharp Money says that Yard nearly finished Kovalev, but at this price, I like it. Why not? Why not at plus 300? Remo says, if he wins this Kovalev bet, give him the Vegas Gun Award. Jay Pete says Dawson needs Canelo to win, and Al brought that up, and that's the risky part about judges. Viper MB says Canelo makes too much money for boxing. He won't lose. Stoned Ape says Canelo easy. Cove past his prime. Perfect guy to come up against. Tolkien says Canelo wins easy. But Fat Fist, Kovalev KO by round 10. What an exciting bet. What an exciting bet. I like it. Eddie Obasoan says, I'm a huge boxing fan. Now I follow UFC because they actually give us the fights we want. Fat Fist saying, Canelo crazy for going up 2 weight classes. And Al echoed that point as well. I love it. Okay, there we go. Al Mac rolling through right now. Next up, Al Mac, last minute NHL and NBA looks. Al Mac, by the way, I'd like to touch on NFL. Al will be back with us on Friday and hammer the NFL card. But Al Mac has moved into, let me pull this up right now. What place have you moved into? You're rolling. Pick 6. Al Mac has moved into 54th. 28, 18, and 2. Up 11.79 units. Great work, Al Mac. Last minute looks. NHL, let's start with those.
All right, so the Avalanche, they've played 11 games so far this year. They've won 6 of those games by 2 goals or more. If you bet them every single game at -1.5, you've gone 6-5 plus 11.46 units. Give me the Avs tonight -1.5 plus 175 against the Panthers. Also in those 11 games, 10 of those games, 2 goals have been scored. 2 goals or more have been scored in the first period. Give me Colorado, Florida, first period over 1.5, -150. It's a lot of juice, but with this team on a 10-1 streak to the over, I like it. Also, The Jackets, they've played 11 games. In 5 of those games, Columbus has gone to overtime. I like Columbus Edmonton draw. That's a play that I'll be always on. Probably every time I'm on here with NHL, I'm going to be betting one team draw. There's so much value there. These should be at plus 250, and you're getting plus 310, plus 320. So Columbus Edmonton draw plus 310, and then Arizona against Montreal. I don't have the stat right in front of me just because I didn't get there, but Arizona has been very profitable, winning games by 2 goals or more this year. So Arizona minus 1.5 at plus 195. Those are the 4 plays that I'm on for NHL tonight.
I like it. I'm on the Jackets on the -1 line. I believe in that spot. Gegard on Blue Jackets -1 as well. Gegard also on Blues -1.5. That's another look I'm on. He's also on Clippers full game under 216. That was a late addition of mine. And Bucks -3. I'm with that as well. Nice. And he's also on Nets -3. I'm not on that Gegard, but we're rolling together tonight. I like that a lot. Okay, those are Al's looks in NHL. Let's move over to the association. DP Slapper says there is no draw. It just, the books still have that bet available. It just means going into overtime. But I hear you, DP. Let's go into NBA. NBA, what are your final looks on this NBA card? I've added 2 plays to my NBA card. This morning, I was on just the Bucks at -3 and the Bulls at -2. But since talking with Junior Brown, I added the Sixers at -7, and I took the under 215.5 in the Clippers game. Al Mack, final NBA looks. What's your plan?
Yeah, so with the NBA this year, just as last year, I can't really get into the trends and the modeling yet until each team has played about 8 to 10 games. So what I do is I'm just following the league trends. And just like we've seen in the NFL, the books are not booking these road teams the way that they should be. Road dogs, ATS, 21-12-1. Road teams, ATS, 30-23-1. And underdogs in general, 32-21-1. That's all ATS. So give me every road dog tonight. Minnesota +7, the Knicks +9.5, Detroit +9, Indiana +3.5. Charlotte +7.5, the Clippers +6, and Phoenix +5. All about, let's say, 3/4 of a unit play there for all of those, because it's just been profitable. And I think out the gate, like we've seen with a lot of sports recently, some reason the home field advantage, the home court advantage isn't what it used to be, and the books aren't they're not adjusting to that just yet. So we're seeing the road team do well. So give me the road teams tonight. Road underdogs tonight.
Road dogs from Al. Al, have you tweeted that out as like a standalone tweet? Because I'd be very, very interested to see how that plays out for you. Have you tweeted that out as a standalone?
Yeah, I've just been posting it once every day. I didn't do it today, but I've been just posting it every day just to show. I call it the trends worth tracking. So I'm doing that in NBA and NFL all season.
Oh, I love that. I absolutely love that. Beautiful. And then finally, we've got to make moves. But if you could quickly, I don't know why. I feel like I'm seeing things clear in NFL, even though my record is bad. And so I'm hammering NFL this week, hammering it. And part of it is that I've been in an okay run. And I'm down $1,000 in NFL last 2 weeks, but I took care of that very easily with NHL and NBA. I've made 13 bets on this NFL card already, and there's more that I want to make. I'm taking what the NFL is giving me, and I've locked in 13 bets. Can you just go over your looks, and we'll expand on them on Friday?
Yeah, I'm just looking right now. I gotta go with this under the under 42.5 in the primetime game tomorrow. Again, 20-5 primetime game unders. So it's just been an auto bet for me. That's all I've really been looking at. I'm also eyeing this the double-digit underdogs. They've been 29-4 since 2012. So if some of these teams if some of these teams are going to end up being home dogs, home double-digit dogs, the under in those games has also gone like 30-2. So I'm going to be eyeing. There's some spots this week, but again, if anything else fails, road dogs and road teams ATS have just been destroying it in the NFL. About 67% for both of those. So I'm going to be looking at that. I haven't honestly looked at the card as in depth just because I've been more in depth looking at NHL and NBA. So I'm going to get into it basically as soon as we're done here.
Well, I'm excited to hear all of your looks because you've been destroying the year so far. This is what I'm on. I'm on Patriots -3. I got that at -123 at BetOnline. I'm on the Packers -3. I got that at -120 at 5 dimes. These are official picks for this show. And you can, on Twitter, you can see what I bet them at. I got the Jets -3 at +100 at Pinnacle. The Buccaneers +6.5 at -108 at 5 dimes. Tennessee, Carolina over 41 at -117. The Titans +4 at -110. -105, excuse me. Redskins +10 at -110. I got the Colts at +103 on the money line. The Jets, Dolphins over 40.5. I have the Eagles first half at -3. The Packers, Chargers under 47. That's gone up to 48. So that upsets me. I'm on the Browns -3 at -110. I'm going to take advantage of this bum at quarterback for the Broncos. And then I'm on the Colts, Steelers under 43 at -115, and there's more that I'd like. DP Slapper says, is Montreal making the playoffs, Jimmy? My answer is going to be a no. But they proved me wrong year after year. And Druin is playing better hockey than I've seen him play in a long time. And Gallagher gives him that leadership. But no, I would say no. That would be my guess. Okay, beautiful. That's what's up. Al Mack, I'm looking forward to hear your looks in CFL. We'll do that on Friday. But quickly, have you locked anything in CFL?
No, I honestly think that this week might be just at least on the east side, a throwaway. There's going to be we're going to see some like a tough game for Calgary and Saskatchewan, but I just think it's going to be extremely hard to handicap. I'll have to look at it situation wise and see what all the other guys like Ian are thinking, because this week is the type of thing where the power ratings and the model is not going to work.
Yeah, I agree with that. And but man, have the Argos not been putting money in our pocket week in and week out? What a wild season it's become, where they're just feeding us. Al Mac, what a treat it is to roll with you. And I loved your card today because it was all stuff that we hadn't talked about. Your Kovalev bet at +300 is very interesting. Keep destroying the Pick 6 contest. And Al Mac, will you be doing Beat the Bag Breeders' Cup with us this weekend?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be around all Saturday. The Breeders' Cup is it's so fun. It's the best of the best. So every race is just awesome. I look forward to it every single year. It comes faster and faster every year because we got so much going on. But the Breeders' Cup will be a lot of fun.
It will. It will be a lot of fun. It's the best. It's the best day of the year for me, and I wish we would talk about it more, and I wish more people loved it as much as we do, but it's my favorite day of the entire year, and it's where you get paid, man. You're going to find spectacular horses at 15-1 and at 20-1, top-of-the-line horses, and we have Flash in the office now who's going to give us insight on these European horses, these European invaders. Also, he's got ins with Godolphin Racing, very close with a bunch of people in there, so he's going to have some inside information on some of these horses coming over, but in saying that, I'm going to fade them all, pretty much. I do not trust them on our turf. It's tougher turf. There's not been rain out there of late, so I'm going to fade them all. Tremaine Arline says, what up, Jimmy? New to the show. Love it. Tremaine, welcome to the fam. Thank you so much for joining us. Man, it's just, it's fun. Today was a lot of fun, and I just enjoy working with these great cappers so much. Al Mac, my man, please, can you tell us a little bit about where we can find you on Twitter, and tell us about your articles here for Sportsbook Review?
Yeah, just really quickly, I just came across this now that we were talking about. I didn't realize it. So Arizona is their 10-point dog at home. So that trend since 2012, 29-4 to the under. So now we're also talking about 29-4 to the under and 20-5 primetime games under. So the under is going to be a huge play for me tomorrow. Hopefully it gets some buyback on the over at 42.5. I always like an even number under because it's two numbers make an even number more than they make an odd number. So it's always good to get that even number under. But that's the type of stuff that I'm always talking about on my Twitter, Spark Almac, and at sparksports.ca. And you can read my full article about Canelo Kovalev. It'll be up at some point either tonight or early tomorrow morning, and I cover all the angles. I got more than just the win. I think that there's a lot of stuff that we can do with that fight. So read about that, plus my NCAA football parlays. I'm on a crazy run, like 5-1 for plus 9 units in the past 3 weeks. So check that out. And Friday I'll have all my NFL plays.
I can't wait to have you back on Friday, my friend. There he is, Al Mac. Follow him on Twitter at Spark Al Mac. Spark Al Mac. One word. Follow him on Twitter. Enjoy your evening, my friend, and I will see you again on Friday.
Yeah, I'm excited. See you Friday, man.
There he goes, Al Mac. Good looks. Man, I'm excited. I'm pumped up. I'm very, very pumped up. Game 7 of the World Series, 11 basketball games, 6 NHL games. We're getting closer to football. This is a lot of fun. And the reason why it's so much fun is because of you guys. It's because of you guys, man. And thank you so much for supporting the show. And we got Breeders' Cup coming up this weekend. I mean, I don't know if life gets better than this, man. Who needs anything else? Friendship and action. And then your heart pounds through your chest while you bet as you give high fives to your buddies with victories. Much love to you guys. Good luck tonight. Let's get it. But first, let's bring in Freddie Fortune and see what he has to say. Please welcome to the show, Freddie Fortune. Hello, Freddie. Welcome. Join us. I do have some bets I have to make, so we don't have too much time. Just a couple NBA plays, but still 13 minutes. Josh Rogan says, what do you think about the 49ers covering 9.5? I mean, I expect them to. I think I'm just going to take a team total over right now. It's just my book's giving such a worse line than other books, so I've just kind of been waiting because this total's been going down. But I think that's how I'm going to handle it. 49ers team total over, and maybe the over. I'm not entirely sure. But I'll stay in touch with you, Josh, and we'll figure out how to handle that the best. Nut Plus Jr. on the Nats. Freddie, how are you?
I'm all right. I'm all right, I guess.
All right, you don't seem all right. How are things going at Larry's place?
Things aren't going at Larry's place anymore.
Are you not living there anymore?
No.
Okay. You're on the move again?
Yeah, I'm trying to move.
Okay. Okay. I know you've been going through tough times. We're thankful for having you here. And how did your last plays go that you dropped on the show?
They all lost.
They all lost?
Yeah, my personal play and my official play. I also helped Larry cap his Korean basketball and
Yes.
he lost too.
Oh, and that lost too. Okay. That's a very colorful shirt you're wearing.
Yeah, I thought it would make me happy.
Did it?
No.
All right. Okay. What sport are you capping, Freddie?
Egyptian squash.
Egyptian squash.
Yeah.
Okay. Egyptian squash. Maybe watching a little Egyptian squash put a smile on your face this evening.
Definitely not.
Okay. Okay. Egyptian squash. What is your action, Freddie?
Ball call, plus 1.5. That plus 137 at bet 365. Is this correct? Yes.
Wow. Connor Dent says Freddie's the best.
I am. Thank you.
Guillermo says you're crazy. You don't like Euro horses on turf. Not our turf. And I eat at the Breeders' Cup, not backing them. I mean, sure, in the turf, in that one race, the turf, you have to take a European horse. But in all of the other turf races that we have, other than that one race, I'm going to fade them. Fade them. Fade them. Raven in the Desert sending you love. Corey Simmons is finding this very humorous, but it's not. But I think what he's trying to tell you is that they love you here. And Jesse Nima says, "Get better, Freddie," and people love you here.
Thank you.
There's been no making fun of you at all. Actually, there has been a bit. Okay, there has been a couple.
Thank you.
I won't even get into it. I think this Egyptian squash play is gonna lead you to happiness.
Let's see what happens.
Is this the wrong time to ask you to give us a leche?
My back is killing me, but I can try.
And that's from the sleeping on the floor.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe a leche will bring you some glory. Why don't you give us a leche?
Leche. Bookmakers.
Oh, that's awful. That's just terrible. That's one of the worst leches I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I'm just shocked at how
I
poor.
bet flashes are worse.
No, that's awful.
Leche.
Oh God.
Leche. That's all I can give you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry too.
Leche, a los bookmakers.